out to get a behind-the-scenes look at the CRM strategy that's just as flawless as the brand it powers. Danielle Esterlis from MAC Cosmetics and Brittany Baines from Movable Inc. will walk us through how MAC delivers campaigns that are fast, flexible, and fully on brand using modular templates, dynamic content, and zero-party data to personalize at scale. Please welcome Danielle and Brittany.
Hi, everybody. All right, before we get started, raise your hand if any of these make your eyes twitch just a little. A broken link in a live send. Slightly off-centered pixel. Oh. Someone saying, let's just use last year's email again.
Or the classic, testing 14 versions of an email and still forgetting to switch out the subject line before hitting send. Yeah, we've been there. Welcome to our very specific and slightly neurotic corner of the marketing world.
I'm Danielle. I lead retention marketing at MAC Cosmetics, where my job is making sure that customers don't forget us after the first click.
And I'm Brittany from Movable Inc. I've been working with Danielle for over 3 years, helping bring her team's vision to life in email with just the right amount of data, tech, and the occasional, what if we tried this crazy idea?
What started off as a pretty straightforward brand tech partnership has become a full-on creative tag team. We nerd out on things like modular design, message timing, and yes, even footer logic.
But today is not about templates and triggers. It's about how we've worked together to scale personalization, move faster, and keep things fun without burning out our teams or our audiences.
So whether you're team A/B test everything or team let's just send it, we've got something for you. But let's start by taking a step back, right? We all love our metrics, the revenues, the conversions, the click-throughs. But at some point, we paused and we asked, what did this email actually sell? Not just in terms of product, but what message did it deliver? What value did it bring? And more importantly, how do we work smarter? How do we make every campaign more efficient, more relevant, more impactful before the email even goes out? So that's when we went back to the foundation, our headers and our footers, the simple building blocks that are so easy to overlook, but when optimized, can unleash a whole new level of scale. And from there, we expanded. We introduced things like dynamic personalization, modular design to reduce production time, and brought in interactive elements like polls, not just to engage, but to listen. And when you start designing for scale and for insight, you don't just move faster, you build smarter. So today we're walking you through just how we did that. Welcome to Prepped, Primed, and Personalized, how MAC has built efficient and dynamic campaigns. So how did we make that vision a reality? We focused on these 3 key priorities. We started off by rethinking our approach to campaign builds. So instead of designing from scratch every single time, we developed a flexible system of modular components, starting with the basics like our headers and our footers. And moving to these dynamic, reusable modules allowed us to streamline the build process without compromising creativity. Suddenly, what used to take days started to take hours. And we built once, and we used those pieces again and again, adjusting for audience, content, and context. Priority 2, we brought in polls within emails, and this was a game changer. They were light, simple, and frictionless. And most importantly, they gave us direct insight from our customers. Things like, what products are you loving right now? What new launches are you excited about? How do you prefer to shop? This was zero-party data shared voluntarily by our customers in real time. And it helped us keep personalization fresh and privacy compliant without relying so heavily on third-party sources or complex integrations. And this shift really empowered our teams, especially our creative teams, to do something incredibly valuable. We gave them time and space. Time to be strategic, time to think bigger, and time to collaborate more fluidly across marketing, creative, and tech teams. This shift empowered our teams to test faster, to iterate smarter, and to try out some new ideas, like real-time modules, live data integrations, and content that adapts on the fly.
At Movable Inc., we think of these features as our personalization brushes, tools we can dip into to create something that feels effortless, seamless, and made just for the customer. These are the levers that have helped us bring Mac's vision to life across every campaign. For efficiency, think dynamic modules like collapsible banners, personalized footers, countdown timers. These help us streamline production without impacting quality or without compromising quality. To collect zero-party data, we brought in polling and interactive modules, tools that ask, not assume. They've helped us understand preferences straight from the customer and adapt in real time. And when it comes to agility, we've got weather modules, local store maps, abandoned cart banners, and social proving. These allow us to respond with relevance and speed, keeping campaigns fresh and responsive. So whether we're optimizing, retargeting, or refreshing the look and feel, these tools let us build smarter, not harder. They're how we ladder up to everything we just talked about, delivering personalization that's scalable, data-driven, and creatively bold. So once we had the right use cases and a scalable framework, we turned our focus to something foundational, our base structure, specifically headers and footers. These elements show up in every email, but they weren't optimized for the growing complexity of our messages. So we asked, where can we reduce friction? Where can we make the base smarter, more flexible, more dynamic? This wasn't just about design, it was about making the entire build process more efficient and more strategic.
And as our audience needs became more nuanced, so think loyalty tiers, regional content, product preferences, our messages needed to evolve too. We were ready for a glow up. We were ready for that header footer refresh. But here's the catch. Manual builds, limited segmentation data, long QA cycles, it made it really hard to keep up. So we needed a solution that balanced efficiency with relevance while still feeling completely on brand. We wanted to reduce the number of sends, we wanted faster QA and deployment cycles, consistent brand experience, all while laddering up to creative insights for us to react on those behavioral signals and engage. So on the left, your left, yes, that left, you'll see our previous header footer. So functional, yeah, but limited in flexibility. On the right is our refreshed version. It's clean, dynamic, and built to scale even further. We introduced logic that allows us to surface different content for different audiences while still maintaining a consistent look and feel. And this wasn't just cosmetic. It was foundational to how we now build with intention and adaptability. And this refresh unlocked something huge for us. By eliminating redundant builds and standardizing delivery, we gave our creative teams the freedom to think more strategically. So think of it like setting up a paint palette. Once the core structure is there, the real artistry can begin. And instead of spending time tweaking layouts for every variation, our teams are focusing on what really matters: messaging, testing, and innovation. And the partnership between all of the cross-functional teams, marketing, creative, tech, have become so much more seamless. We're able to test faster, iterate smarter, and launch with more confidence than ever before.
One great example of this, when we first started working together, Mac was sending 2 separate emails just to deliver slightly different content between their loyalty and non-loyalty audiences. Now, using query parameter targeting through Movable Inc., we dynamically swap out that content based on who's opening it. Now, not only were we able to reduce their sends by 50%, we also helped them significantly increase their AOV, overall creating a much more personalized experience. So as we partnered with Mac to evolve their personalization strategy, our first priority was clarity, making sure every message felt intentional and aligned with the customer's needs. We leaned into polling to listen and learn directly from customers. Those insights gave us a clearer view into what really mattered, allowing us to personalize with purpose, not just based on behavior, but based on real preferences. Behind the scenes, Movable Inc.'s dynamic tools helped us scale that experience, but it was truly Mac's creative direction that made it feel elevated and undeniably on brand.
And as we matured our approach, we realized that efficiency was just one piece of the puzzle, and we knew personalization had to ladder up to 4 additional priorities to meet our customers where they were. So to really elevate our messaging, we added in a few more key tenets to our process, starting with relevancy. Because if it's not relevant, it's just noise. Then we asked ourselves, are we really listening? Not just to clicks or conversions, but to the subtle signals like drop-off points, content preferences, where are customers bouncing, where are they lingering? And we treated all of that as insight, not failure. And most importantly, we started turning all of that input into innovation, because every data point, every poll response, every micro interaction is a chance to shape something better, smarter, and more human.
This is where the strategy started to come to life. We launched phase 1 of polling with what we knew would resonate: beauty preferences. We asked quick, engaging questions like, what's your go-to foundation finish? Do you lean warm, cool, or neutral in your undertones? What's your ideal shade match? From there, we automatically retargeted customers with preference-based product recommendations.
And as we saw success with those early preference-based polls, we took it a step further, evolving our strategy to ask deeper questions around shopping behavior, conversion friction, and motivation. We asked things like, what's preventing you from checking out? What would improve your shopping experience? And how can we help? And because this feedback was voluntarily shared, it became one of our most valuable sources of zero-party data. We didn't just use it to tweak email content, we used it to inform broader improvements across the board. Because at Mac, we recognize that our emailable customers are the closest to our customer journey. We trust their feedback and we prioritize their perspective in our own strategy. And so by this point, polls had evolved into something much bigger than just a personalization tool. They became our insight engines, giving our most engaged customers a real voice in shaping what comes next. First, feedback around pricing, for example. That didn't just have to stay in marketing. It reinforced internal conversations and gave us clear alignment with what our customers expect. Next, we looked at top click poll responses and used those to inform our follow-up content. The result? Messaging that felt tailored and performed measurably better.
And this wasn't just passive listening. The zero-party data we gathered played a direct role in how we segment and serve customers, getting us closer to true one-to-one communication. Even frustration points like discontinued products became re-engagement opportunities, where we could go back to those customers with thoughtful, specific solutions. Ultimately, these insights helped us move beyond batch and blast toward communication that's informed, intentional, and genuinely more human. Of course, scaling innovation doesn't come without a few growing pains. As we rolled out these new strategies, we ran into some familiar roadblocks: testing bottlenecks, QA slowdowns, and unpredictable delivery scenarios. But instead of seeing them as blockers, we used them as a chance to rethink how we work together. We leaned into cross-functional collaboration, introduced fallback logic, and invested in smarter monitoring tools, all to make the unknown feel a little more manageable. We made updates visible in real time by using preview links tied to specific user IDs. This allowed us to simulate dynamic scenarios and QA multiple conditions without sending endless test versions. Next, we built intelligent fallback logic into every experience. So even if a data feed fails or a customer doesn't meet certain conditions, they'll still see something intentional, not broken content. I'm sure most of you can agree that's a safeguard that goes a long way in preserving brand trust. We then enhanced dynamic previews, again, using unique IDs to mimic real-world experiences. This approach cut our QA time in half, freeing up resources for innovation, not troubleshooting. And lastly, we empowered the Mac team through on-site trainings and onboardings, giving them tools to update creative on the fly and pull reports in real time from the Movable Ink platform.
So what's next? Where do we go from here? Just like refreshing your favorite lip look, our approach to innovation is all about layering. Build the base, define the line, and then refresh with purpose. We're now exploring 4 exciting frontiers that bring both scale and creativity to the forefront. Predictive AI, Da Vinci, talk of the town today, really. So we're tapping into predictive AI to help us answer questions before the send, and that's important. We want these questions answered before. Which content will perform best, which images will drive the most engagement, and Da Vinci has really helped us dynamically optimize layout, rendering, and placement, cutting down on all of that guesswork and boosting performance where it counts, revenue and conversion. Nav bars, dynamic nav bars. These are nav bars that shift based on individual preferences, like serving different product categories depending on what a user browses or buys. It's a subtle shift with a big impact, driving higher click-throughs and making the entire experience that much more tailor-made. Next up, also talk of the town, syncing email and SMS. By aligning content and cadence across our ESP and Movable Ink, we're crafting journeys that feel cohesive, not fragmented. Behavioral data will trigger personalized SMSs, so when a user browses, clicks, or hesitates, we're able to follow up with them with just the right nudge. And finally, personalized content rules. We're getting even more strategic with relevance rules, social proofing, waterfall logic, you name it, all grounded in loyalty tiers, points, browse history, purchase behavior, and even inventory levels. Because the more relevant we are, the more memorable the message. And at the end of the day, it's not just about sending more, it's about sending smarter. And we're just getting started. So,
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Find us in